Hi, Taurus. Welcome to the month of July. We're going to get right into what you can expect this month. And just as I did last month, I am using the asterisks to represent the planets. All right, so on the 5th, we have a nice sextile. We have the sun in a sextile to Uranus. And for you, this is manifesting itself in the areas of your life dealing with your self image and also communications or short distance travel. Okay, so this is an energy where you are going to welcome new experiences. So you might find yourself communicating with your maybe siblings or your close neighbors. You might find yourself communicating to someone that you are changing something about your self image. So you might communicate to someone that you're changing your hairstyle or that you're changing your clothing. You might have a different outlook on life that you are communicating to others at this time. So that is how this might manifest for you around this time. Now, on the 6th, we do have a square. We have Mercury in Gemini in a square to Neptune in Pisces. So let's move the blue asterisk to represent Neptune. So now, under this square, when Mercury is in a square to Neptune, you can expect confusion. You can expect lies to be told. You can expect you can expect to experience people avoiding the whole truth. So this is not a good time to get into contracts for Taurus rising. So let's look at the areas where this is happening for you. So Neptune is in the area of your life that deals with friends, networking, technology, and then you have Mercury in the area of your life dealing with money. So you could find yourself maybe telling a lie to some friends about your finances. Okay. You might have a friend who asks you for money and you maybe tell a little white lie and you say, well, you know what? I don't have it right now. Even though you really might have the money in your account. For some reason, you just might not want them to know that you have it. Okay. So again, this is not a good time for getting into contracts. And for you, it's really not a good time for you to loan out money or borrow money from anyone. Okay. So that is on the 6th. Now, let's see here. We do have an opposition on the same day. We have Venus in Leo in an opposition to Saturn in Aquarius. So the blue asterisk is going to represent Saturn. Let me just move it. This is representing Saturn, and the green asterisk is representing Venus in this example. So we have Venus in an opposition to Saturn. This is an energy where you have joy versus discipline. So Saturn wants you to be disciplined about your career at this point, but you want to have fun at home because that's where Venus is. So it could be a case where you find yourself calling out to work just to work on some things at home. You just might feel like being at home more than you want to be at work around this time. So just watch out for that and try to balance that out. But there is an opposition that's going on there for you. Around the 6th. Now, let's move on to the following week, the week of the 11th. So, on the 11th, we have Mercury moving into Cancer. So, Mercury is moving into the area of your life that deals with communications, that deals with local travel. So, Mercury is moving in from the second house into the third house, and Mercury rules the third house. So, Mercury is feeling right at home once he moves into Cancer. So you will find that you will communicate more fluently around this time once Mercury moves into your third house. You might find yourself taking more short distance trips. You might find yourself interacting more with your neighbors and your siblings as well once Mercury moves into Cancer. Now, on the 12th, we have a nice sextile. We have Mercury in Cancer. So let's move this Well, okay, you can follow along. Sometimes I'll put the asterisks to represent the planets, and sometimes I won't. So in this example, you can follow along with what I'm saying. So on the 12th, you have Mercury in Cancer. So you find Cancer on the chart and know that Mercury is going to be there. We have Mercury in Cancer in a trine to Jupiter in Pisces. Because remember, at this point in the month, Jupiter and Neptune are both in Pisces, but they're not conjunct. They're not like very close to one another in Pisces, but they're both in Pisces. So the energy of when Mercury is in a trine to Jupiter, you are going to feel very open-minded and you are going to find yourself making plans for the future. So Mercury in Cancer is in your area of your life dealing with communications, and then Jupiter is up there in the area that deals with your friendships. So you might find yourself communicating with your friends about something that you maybe want to work on together. You might find yourself networking. I have to plug in my computer. It's about to die. 1 minute. There we go. So you might find yourself communicating with your friends and making plans to maybe do a short road trip in the future. Okay, that's one way that this can manifest for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the asterisk. It's easier for me to follow along when I see it right where it is located. Okay, so yeah, Mercury is going to be in a trine to Jupiter at this point. So Jupiter wants to expand your networking. Jupiter wants to expand your interactions with technology. Meanwhile, Mercury wants to talk about it. Okay, so Mercury and Jupiter are basically going to have a meeting. Jupiter is going to say, this is what's on the table. This is what I'm trying to expand. Jupiter is letting Mercury know, I want to expand your networking. And Mercury says to Jupiter, well, that works out just fine because I am right at home in the area of your life dealing with communications. So this is going to be a great energy for a lot of Taurus rising. Okay, so that is on the 12th. Now on the 13th, we have a great aspect. We have Venus. Let me just move it over here. We have Venus and Mars in a conjunction in Leo. So this is going to be the perfect time for you to do something at home, for you to be with your family, for you to plan activities with your family around this time. It's overall a great day for everything, wherever these planets are located. So we have Venus and Mars in Leo. So for you, it is going to manifest in a really good and positive energy within your home and your family life. Okay, so that is on the 13th. Now, on the 17th, we have the Sun in Cancer, and it is going to be in an opposition. It is going to be in an opposition to Pluto in Capricorn. So this is going to be a time where the sun is going to be shining light on something that needs to be fixed. Okay, so you might have some legal matters to deal with around this time, and the sun is going to help you to communicate um, your way through whatever you're dealing with around this time, whether it's legal matters, whether you're trying to communicate that you need to do the paperwork to get your visa approved so that you can travel overseas. It can be something like that that you will have to deal with, because remember, an opposition deals with something, some type of struggle that you will have around this time. Now, also, you need to watch out for mechanical breakdowns, because when the sun is in an opposition to Pluto, you do see more mechanical breakdowns around this time. So just watch out for that, because the sun is in the area of your life that deals with communications, travel, moving parts. So you might find that you are having technical difficulties. Let's say you broadcast a lot. You might find that you're having more trouble with your um machines breaking down, like with your devices. You might find that you're having more trouble with keeping your devices from breaking down. Excuse me, from breaking down around this time. Okay. Excuse me. Just drink some water. So that's one way that this aspect might manifest. Okay. And that's on the 17th. So let's move on to the next week, the week of July 18th. Okay. Because on the 20th, we have Mercury in Cancer and a sextile to um, Uranus in Taurus again. So, again, this is you visiting the thought of changing something. You might change by this point in the month, you might find yourself actually changing something related to your physical appearance if you didn't already do it earlier in the month, or you might find yourself making an additional change to your physical appearance, okay, around this time of the month. Because this is an energy where you come up with new ideas and new solutions. Okay, so that is on the 20th. Now, on the 21st, we have Venus moving into Virgo. So for you, Venus is moving into your area of your life that deals with romance. So you might find yourself um, being more thoughtful about your romantic encounters. You might find yourself being a little bit more creative around this time when Venus moves into that area of your life. Okay. Now, on the 22nd, we have the sun moving into Leo. So, as of the 22nd, we can tell all of our Leo friends happy birthday. Okay. Because the sun is moving into your area of your life that deals with your home and your family. So, that's great. Also, on the 22nd, we have Venus in Virgo. So, let's move Venus over here to Virgo. We have Venus in Virgo in opposition to Jupiter in Pisces. And remember, Jupiter wants to expand everything. So Jupiter is over there just maybe overdoing it with dealing with too much technology. And then Venus is on the other side of the chart and is more concerned with being creative, is more concerned with romance and kids. Meanwhile, Jupiter is just over there wilding out with technology, just wilding out with friends. So there is going to be sort of like a tug of war going on between your romantic encounters and your friendships, between your creativity and maybe what you're doing with technology. There's going to be a bit of a struggle going on there for you, for a lot of Taurus rising. Okay, so let's move on to the last week. We do have in opposition, we have Mercury in Cancer. Oh, 1 minute. I'm just trying to move it over. We have Mercury in Cancer in an opposition right over here. Let's move the asterisk over there. Opposition with Pluto in Capricorn. So remember, I believe you had an opposition earlier in the week. Earlier in the month. Remember, on the 17th, you had the Sun in Cancer in an opposition to Pluto in Capricorn. Now, fast forward to the 25th, you have the same, whatever came up 2 weeks ago, it's going to come up again. And it's going to be more so on your mind. Okay? It's going to be more so on your mind. So, whatever came up 2 weeks ago that you had to deal with, on July 25th, it looks like it's going to come up again. But this time when it comes up, you're going to be persuaded to give in, okay, around this time. So if you were dealing with something 2 weeks before July 25th, when July 25th comes around, you're going to find yourself giving in to something that you did not give into earlier in the month. Okay. Now, moving on to the 29th. Well, okay, before that, let's talk about the 28th. On the 28th, we have Jupiter moving into Aquarius because remember, Jupiter is retrograde at this point. Jupiter is retrograde. Jupiter went retrograde last month. So at this point, Jupiter is moving back into Aquarius. So at the end of the month, we have Mars in Leo in an opposition to Jupiter in Aquarius. So you can see that there's going to be an opposition that happens between your home and family life and your career around that time. Between your home and family life or your public image, so just be aware of that around the 29th. Also on the 29th, we have Mars moving into Virgo. So if you've been having writer's block or if you've been feeling like you haven't had enough romantic encounters, when Mars moves into Virgo, you should start seeing more action in the area of your life that deals with creativity, romance, and kids. So that's everything I have for you for July. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. You can always book a private reading with me on my website, metaphysicalmoonlighters.com. I am Citrine. Everyone have a great month.